but let's get right into it. Okay, in the last two videos, we created this image. I won't say look, because it's a little bit more than Rec 709, but it'll do it for a talking head, like a quick copy and paste thing. But what I show you now is how I approach a new project, maybe a commercial or a music video or whatever, to create a look that is consistent throughout the whole thing. So what I did is I pre-graded the same clip, just a little bit more advanced. So again, our CST in, our CST out. Oh, okay. And then I stay on the timeline and add a node right before the CST out. And this node is some sort of a LUT that I get delivered, or a LUT that I created myself, or in this case I used Dehancer. And the reason why I do this is that I want this consistent look. The nodes on the timeline affect all the clips that you add to your timeline. So I opened the Dehancer plugin in this, and what I do first is that I disable all tools. Okay, so nothing is chosen here. Then the source, I choose Davinci White Gamma Intermediate because that's the working space that we are in. Then next up is the film dropdown. I enable the codec vision 3 500T, and as you can see, it stays pretty neutral and takes out a little bit more of the contrast. The reason for that is that we now have to go into our print dropdown, and what I choose is codec 2383. As you can see here, I enable it and I bring back the contrast. Okay, so the print and the film emulation in Dehancer always goes hand in hand. Okay, and what this slider does underneath the codec vision is it gives me either the choice to go with a little bit more blue inside or green inside the shadows, or warm the highlights. Okay, so in this case, because it's a tungsten, codec vision 3 500T is a tungsten balanced node, I go with a little bit more warmth in it and create the coolish shadows in another node. All right, so, and that's it. Right now I'm not touching any sort of film grain or something else, and I don't like the compression. I could go with it, but I don't know. It looks good here. I could go with it, but for now I'm not enabling it. Okay, I don't do a lot in here in the beginning. With that being done, I go back to my clip node tree, and then I go into my balance node. What I did is again, this is transformed into a linear node. I chose to go a little bit more into the blue to create this more neutral look, but with this 2383 500T node, you see it is already going more into the bluish look in the shadows. And you see that when I pull out the reds and orange, and in this case a little bit of the yellows, you see that it gets back to neutral. Right after the balance node, I go into my exposure and contrast node, and as you can see, I added a little bit of contrast back into this. And what you see here in the highlights, like the roll off, and I pull this little dot down here. This is a compression, the same or some sort of compression that the film compression does to this node. Okay, and I dropped the exposure to minus 0.39. It's not a lot, but you will notice it gets a little bit darker throughout the whole node tree. You see the primaries here, but what I do is I go into my saturation. The saturation In here, I use the saturation slider in our color slicer. Because the color slicer is aware of the skin tone, although they are more balanced. This is the saturation that I went with. Now let's get into our primaries. What I wanted to do is to get a little bit more teal and orange in it with my primaries. So what you see here, can you see this? Like, I make this a little bit bigger. Okay, this is pretty big. Right, I'll show you. Okay, so now you can see what the primaries does, like the gamma in the primaries. Gamma brings up the exposure a little bit, but it also stretches the image to warm, like the teal and orange look. And that's all I did with it. Okay, and like this, you could say, okay, we are getting there. So if I would enable the window, the power window, this one, it brings a little bit more to, it brings the whole image more to life. Okay, so let's disable the vignette, the power window, and go on. So after the saturation, obviously I go into my density. Let's go into, so all it does is just bring the reds down a little bit. Then the color warper, so bring it up a little bit. Okay, so I pushed my shirt more to the blue instead of the cyan. Okay, now second day that I see it, I would go a little bit more to the cyan than I did. Yep. So now we get in our split node, and the split tone is there to create this like contrast look, like the teal and orange or green and magenta look, whatever you want to do. So in this case, I went a little bit more with blue in the shadows and warmth in the highlights. So this is off, this is on. Off, on. Not a lot, just enough to get a look, a more look into the shadows. What I like to do is to give it a little bit more of a let's say a more teal and orange look. I can go back into my primaries and I go into my gain, drag the gain more towards a blue look. This is all I did. Look here, like, all right, this is, so now it gets really blue in the shadows. Probably this was too much. All right, so bring it back a little bit more. Now we can go back into our situation, and to bring back the skin tone a little bit more, we can go back into our color slicer situation. That's what it's good for. So with the move towards the blue inside the gain, we take out the saturation, and now we bring it up a little bit. Okay, that's what we get now. A little bit more blue, a little bit more orange in the highlights, and a little bit more blue teal inside the shadows. Wow, oh, I drifted off the split tone. Okay, split tone. Let's go back to the split tone. The split tone is there to create this blue and orange look inside your images. Okay, so what you can do here in the split tone is the same that we did with the contrast curve. So let's do this again. Okay, so you have a node. This one would be our anchor point, the middle gray. Come on, what the hell? Then Davinci. Okay. All right, so I grab this middle point, delete this node, and now you can add with option and click in. You add two more anchor points around the middle gray. Then you enable, now you can go into the RGB channels, and what I like to do is I like to take out color and not edit. What that means is let's say I want to add a little bit more warmth to the highlights. I'm not touching the red channel. I go into my blue, add a point, and take out the blue. And go into my green and take out a little bit more green of it. So that's probably not enough for. Take out blue and green. So this is off and this is on. Like, look at the light behind me. So off and on, off and on. It gets a little bit more warmer, to the warmer side. And here I want a little bit more blue in the shadows. So I would go underneath the middle gray and take out red. I just overdo it. Okay, so you see the effect and the green. And then you would have like really blue shadows. And let's say you overdo, you better overdo it than like not do enough, because you can go into this sliders right here, and you can reduce, like, let's say blue by an amount, and green and red. So now you can, this is like the key output, but with slider right next to the color to the split tones that you have here, and you can balance the hell out of it. Again, all right, like I say, like this just to show you what it does. So I grab a still, and let's go back to 100. What we did. On the left side there is like the key output at 100, and on the right side there is more like the reduced 68 or what it was amount. Okay, so look at the board behind me. This is like the shadows. We add a lot of color to it. Now we get to a little bit more subtle look in the shadows. With reduced one, like here, reduced, overdone, reduced. We get into the split tones in another video. Like we dive into it just with the split tones and everything else. This is just to get this video done. Also, I said I like to reduce colors. In this case, I also added a little bit of that and take them out here again. And the way I see it now is I could go even a little bit less with it, but we leave it untouched now. Let's say you do have a project that is filmed in different locations. You have to check if your look goes with all the other clips that you have. So here you see I do have Apple ProRes RAW, and here's the red RAW. And do I have something else? Nope. Red and Apple. Outside, inside, and some sort of, I don't know, close-ups. And as you see, I do have Apple ProRes clips. I do have red clips here inside my timeline. So let's go to the next clip and just enable the nodes. And this split tone node that you see here, this is the same that I have here. Okay, so just look at this, just to show you. Okay, and this is the split tone. Just because you see a difference here in this white and this white on the wall, it's not that the look doesn't work throughout the whole project. It's just this is a whole another room, like a different environment. What that means is the consistency doesn't mean every location time of the day has to look the same. Let's say I would copy this node tree and get it to the into this clip. Then all I had to do would be change the CST, because this is red and Apple ProRes, but I would have to balance it. Or let's say I would have to bring the exposure up, because as you see here, the exposure in this clip is at minus 2.2 stops down. Then we will get to a similar white tone. What the hell? So here you see, then you see the look works throughout the whole project. All right, so look at this white, and this white hit this part right here. It kind of looks the same. Well, that means the look works if I can put the node tree inside of another clip and just change the basics. But I don't want the same look in this clip that I have here. Here we do have like this nasty hallway with all the posters here. I want more like, yeah, dirty look, a more not feeling well look, like more sick look. And here I want this so this gives it more of a nighttime feeling, watching TV, some sort of a look. This suits like the environment, like the greenish. There's a nasty kind of lighting in there. And same that we have here going on. See, and then it goes into like this tungsten look. It works. Like in such clubs or hallways, you do get this different color temperatures. It's not like we go from this light like into this and think, okay, so this doesn't look right. Then here, right? Same here, same look. We do have the timeline look. We do have the look node tree right here, and is it here? Same here, and it's working. All I did is added a little bit more of a look to it here, like, just to play around. Same thing, it just works. So go from this to this, like at nighttime. You get this twilight look in here. All right, so all you have to do is like add a node before your CST out to get a lot, or like I did with Dehancer. I chose the codec Vision 3 500T, the tungsten balance look. So I corrected it to the warmer side, went with the print of 2383. Then in my node tree, after the balance node, we added an exposure and contrast node. We had primary to like work with the saturation and the split tone. Then we added, we played around with the primaries to get a little bit more exposure in the whole image. After we changed the saturation and density, played with the color warper in my shirt, and split tones. And then primaries also, we added a little bit more cool to it to get this pretty teal and orange look. And as you can see, our skin tones are perfectly aligned with the skin tone line, and we managed to get a basic look for a variety of different location and clips and different or changing color temperature, light color temperatures in one clip. Yeah. So if you like this video, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.